Hey, welcome back everyone. This is Uncle Frank, and I am not a financial advisor, nor is any of the content to be construed as financial advice. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. So the producer price index came out Friday morning. PPI rises more than forecast in latest inflation wrench. Wholesale prices in the U.S. rose by a larger than expected 2.6% last month from a year earlier, a sign that some inflation pressures remain high. The increase, the sharpest year-over-year increase since March of 2023, comes at a time when other price indicators are showing that inflation has continued to ease. So we can agree, no rate cut at this month's Fed meeting. Now we have to look to August or September. How did the market react? Dow closes above 40,000 as stocks rebound from tech sell-off. U.S. stocks finished the week in rally mode with all three major indexes logging gains on Friday. I've got crude oil at 82.18 and gold at 24.16. Wall Street's benchmark S&P 500 index posted a two-week win streak on Friday. Its torrid run has seen it notching gains in 10 out of 12 weeks dating back to the end of April. Remarks by Fed Reserve Chair Jay Powell on Capitol Hill hinting at interest rate cuts, along with a June CPI report that came in softer than expected, were the primary drivers of this week's advance. Market participants responded by strengthening their bets for a 25 basis point interest rate cut in September to nearly 90%. The week also saw a rotation out of mega cap tech stocks into defensive and value sectors such as real estate and utilities. For the week, the S&P added 0.9%, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ gained 0.2%. The blue-chip Dow climbed 1.6%. I wanted to give an update on inflation, where it is and where it isn't. In the top five, I've got auto insurance, rent, housing, household energy, and restaurant meals. They have groceries in the 18th spot, up only 1.1%, and I call bullshit on that one. I don't know what's going on at your grocery store, but we feel like groceries are up over 100%. I think the Biden administration has a gun to the head of the lady that runs the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The bottom five begin with the best drop coming in used cars, down 10.1%, then rental cars, toys, airfare, and then furniture. Me and Al from Boston spoke just yesterday, and he remarked he's in the market for a new car, so I mentioned this chart. New vehicles are down only 0.9% versus used down over 10%. If you add the hit from drive it off the lot depreciation, buying a used car right now is the clear winner over buying new. So let's start our analysis by looking at the most shorted stock screener at Yahoo. The parameters are set for intraday price greater than $1, average volume over 3 months greater than 200,000, and the only change I make is I set the exchange for the New York. I see 1,639 results. Let me point out a couple of things. Number one, Cinemark appears here in the top 25. It ranks 12th. And I find this ironic because Wall Street is constantly telling us to favor Cinemark over AMC through its contacts in the media. But according to this, it's more shorted than AMC, which is ranked 25th. ACHR Aviation comes in at 45th on this screener. The other thing I want to point out is that as of Friday's close, only 8 of the top 25 most shorted stocks on the New York were actually down for the day. That means 17 finished in the green, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I want the most heavily shorted stocks on the exchange to all rally in the face of the short sellers, again and again, until their prime brokers call and tell them it's time to come up with cash or start rearranging that portfolio before they have another Archegos on their hands. Uncle Frank's pick, ACHR Aviation, had another great day on Friday, starting the morning pre-market at 451, then vaulting to a high of 518 on the news of another partnership, this time with Southwest Airlines. ACHR finished the day at 505, up 48 cents or 10.5%. Max Pain was at 450, so hopefully some shorts and market makers got kicked in the teeth. There's the daily chart on ACHR. ARCHR is now north of its 50-day at 3.43, its 200-day average at 4.43, and up 14.77% for the week, and adding 50.30% for the month. I'm expecting its next earnings call on August 8th, and for next week, be watching for support to the downside at 475, and be looking for resistance to the upside at levels 526, 548, and 577. Before we move on to the other stocks, I want to show you the difference between a CEO like Adam Goldstein of ACHR Aviation and Adam Aron of AMC. ACHR released this amazing news about Southwest Airlines on a Friday morning, options expiration day. Do you think Adam Aron would ever do that to Wall Street? Not with an employee of Morgan Stanley running our board of directors, he won't. Do you know how long it takes to hammer out a deal with a company like Southwest Airlines? 6 months, a year, maybe more? This CEO could have dropped this news Monday morning, but he chose options expiration day instead. Do you have any idea what that cost Wall Street? Would you like me to compare the investor relations department of ACHR Aviation to AMC's? It would take me an hour. You couldn't shut these ACHR guys up if you wanted to. I often wonder if John Merriweather of AMC even has fingers or a tongue, he's so quiet. Let me read to you guys the comments he posted on LinkedIn. Nothing but love between Southwest Airlines and ACHR today. Together we're exploring the future of air travel right here in California with the goal of making it possible to achieve door-to-door trips to anywhere in California in 3 hours or less by integrating our eVTOL aircraft with Southwest's flight network. The future we want to unlock is the ability for our customers to take trips like Santa Monica to Napa in that amount of time. Southwest is the Golden State's largest air carrier, operating at 14 airports across the state. We're excited to work with Southwest to explore pairing that with ACHR's midnight aircraft and air taxi networks like the recently announced plans for our Bay Area network to provide streamlined travel experiences for our customers. Now, guys, this is not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold ACHR or any other security. But listen to this other CEO now, Gary Vaynerchuk. He makes comments on investment mistakes. One of the greatest mistakes of my investing career was passing on investing in Uber in the angel round twice. I was literally in the room when Uber was invented, and yet I still passed on investing in the angel round twice. Part of the reason I invested in the next round was because my brother AJ took the first Uber ride in New York City when the founder of Uber came and asked us to test it. And that was the moment I realized Uber doesn't sell transportation. Uber sells us time. Do you see why I think ACHR is in the exact same business and we're at the very early stages? If I can fly from Oakland to Napa in 10 minutes instead of driving for an hour and 15 minutes, can you see the value in that now? GameStop got as low as $25.42 on Friday and then rallied hard. Nice big green candle up to $26.89 to finish the day at $26.05, up 48 cents or 1.88%. After hours, GME tacked on another 15 cents or 0.58%. GameStop is now above its 50-day SMA of 25.37 and its 200-day of 17.34. It added 7.73% for the week, is down 10.54% for the month, but up 141.88% over the past 3 months. Keep an eye on that 50-day SMA number of 25.37 on any sell-offs. At this point, I don't think anyone would argue this GameStop thing has become a bet on the strength of Ryan Cohen as an entrepreneur, and that's what I want to discuss. From Benzinga on Friday, is Ryan Cohen the GOAT? Fresh data shows Chewy Mastermind anticipated massive trends in pet supplies. From the article, investor Ryan Cohen founded Chewy back in 2011 as a play on the growing trend of pet supplies and pet health products. New data suggests Cohen may have been early to the trend, with spending on pet supplies and pet insurance seeing a large increase. What happened? Serving as CEO of Chewy from 2011 to 2018, Cohen put an emphasis on the wide variety of pet products offered to consumers online and providing strong customer service. Cohen sold Chewy to PetSmart in 2017 for $3.35 billion in the largest e-commerce acquisition at the time. The investor may have been early to seeing trends in the pet sector, as a recent SimilarWeb report shows the pet supply category growing 22% over the last 12 months. Helping drive the trend are pet health products, as most consumers treat their pets like family members. This means they are willing to spend on necessary medication or food options for their pets. Then again, from Benzinga in March of 2022, is GameStop's Ryan Cohen becoming the millennial generation's Warren Buffett? The bottom line for GME investors, and this could be of equal importance for AMC investors, is the guy has a hot hand, and we're all waiting for this big release. He needs to start a new business or buy a new business. One thing I can tell you that's encouraging is when you're sitting on $4 billion in cash, you'll also have about 1,000 business plans sitting on your desk every morning. You waited this long, you could wait a little longer, right? Not investment advice or advisor. My concern is, and it's my theory, that Ryan and maybe even Roaring Kitty have been warned to watch their step. I believe the powers that be don't want any drama like brokerage firms and clearing firms exploding this close to the election. So keep that in mind as well. If Gary threatened to delist GME or something like that, they may keep Ryan Cohen quiet into the first quarter of next year, but I'm still hoping for a surprise announcement that blows a kidney right out of the shorts' asses. Stay tuned. AMC had a solid day on Friday, especially considering it was expiration day, but they closed it close enough to Max Payne of 5 to be a manipulation crime in my opinion. Amy climbed to a high of 535 early on and then was muscled down to a low of 518 to finish the day at 526, up only 4 cents or 0.77%, but I'll take an up day over a down day any day. Wow, there's our daily chart on AMC. You could keep blaming Wall Street for this, or you can open your eyes and admit it's Wall Street that's been running our firm since Adam and Phil joined the company. For a guy we're paying $500,000 a week to, he doesn't seem too concerned with our stock price. All this man has to do is say, I'm done diluting for this year unless there's an emergency, and the stock would rally to Cinemark prices, maybe even higher in my opinion, but he will never do that. Have you noticed Adam has yet to release the results of our negotiations with our debt holders? It must be good news. Where's all the announcements about new concert films? I thought the phone was ringing off the hook, remember? Anyway, I do have some good news to report. Over the past week, AMC added 4.16%, and over the past 3 months, she's added 98.49%, and people are starting to take notice. Breaking Friday after the bell, one analyst's reasons to be bullish on box office stocks. From the interview, box office stocks are showing signs of recovery despite not having a ton of new content. Chad Bainan, Macquarie senior analyst of gaming, lodging, and leisure, joined Asking for a Trend to discuss his outlook on box office stocks. Bainan notes the April-May period was the end of a lack of product, attributing this to the 2023 Hollywood strikes. While films like Despicable Me 4 and Inside Out 2 have successfully drawn audiences back to theaters, the lingering effects of the prolonged strikes in Hollywood are expected to impact EBITDA and revenues in the second quarter. However, Boehnen remains optimistic about these stocks, describing them as a back half weighted story. He points to the Thanksgiving Christmas season in the fourth quarter as a potential turning point. While highly anticipated releases such as Moana 2, Gladiator 2, Wicked, and Mufasa the Lion King, Boehnen foresees a lot of broader content that could drive a strong year-end performance for these stocks. Okay, let's discuss the calendar, and then I'm going to cover Swans and XRP. Monday, July 15th at 12, Fed Chair Powell is scheduled to speak again. Monday also marks the one-year anniversary of Judge Torres' decision on the SEC versus Ripple case. We could see a decision on the settlement at any moment now, by the way. We'll also get a look at earnings from Goldman Sachs and BlackRock. Tuesday, July 16th, 8:30, U.S. retail sales. Thursday, 8:30, initial jobless claims. Now, fast forward to the following week. Thursday, July 25th, 8:30 a.m., GDP and initial jobless claims. But Friday, this is a big weekend. July 26th, PCE. This will be the most watched PCE release of the year. And of course, Deadpool Wolverine drops at the theaters. Monday and Tuesday, July 29th and 30th, is the FOMC meeting. Wednesday, July 31st, there are rumors that could be a possible wrap date for the SEC versus Ripple case as well. Friday was nothing short of a crime against all of us when it comes to off-exchange volume on AMC. It was nearly 59%, and we still closed over Max Payne, which indicates to me they're still in trouble on this play, and challenges elsewhere in their leverage chain of positions was drawing money away from holding down our favorite meme stocks, right? Maybe Tesla, maybe Nvidia. Now, presently, I'm not averaging down AMC or buying dips because a lot of my resources have been migrating to XRP. But that could change. If I get blessed somewhere else in the portfolio, that could change my mind. However, the option play I'm looking at over the coming week, this is not investment advice, I am not an investment advisor, is as follows. If there's a significant pullback on AMC, I'll be watching the options expiring on Friday, August 2nd. As I've said, Friday the 26th is huge for the market because of PCE. Deadpool Wolverine also drops, and I'm expecting that to be the biggest event of this year for theaters. Monday the 29th, we'll be getting all the results of that weekend, and I'm expecting them to be outstanding. And this is during the Fed meeting, but you never know, right? Here's hoping AMC, IMAX, and Cinemark all moon together. Okay, let's do some swan watching. Remember, what my research is looking for is a sudden white or black swan event to land on a day where the markets, specifically our enemies, are already digesting a significant economic release, like the upcoming PCE release or the Fed meeting itself. Some guys like to study whale movement, right? Especially in the dark pools. I like to study what moves the whales. You guys may have heard about a Chinese bank suddenly closing last week and heard about the customers protesting outside. From CNN, China crushes mass protest by bank depositors demanding their life savings back. But what you may not have heard is as many as 40 banks may have closed from the daily hodl. 40 banks shut down in sudden vanishing act, absorbed into larger lenders as economy teeters in China. From that article, banks are collapsing at an unprecedented rate in China due to a major downturn in the country's property market, poor risk controls, and other issues. In the week ending on July 24th, 40 smaller banks were sucked up by larger institutions, a vanishing act incomparable even to the S&L crisis of the 80s and 90s, reports The Economist. The report tracks roughly 3,800 lenders in rural China that hold a whopping $7.5 trillion in assets, or 13% of the entire banking system, that are starting to bleed out due to an overstock of bad loans. Some of them have admitted that as much as 40% of their portfolios are non-performing loans. 36 of the 40 failed institutions were all absorbed into one giant lender, Liaoning Rural Commercial Bank, which was set up by regulators in September to manage bad banks. So let's review the swans in the air that apply to our community, the apes, right? Under geopolitical, we've still got Russia-Ukraine, China-Taiwan, and now the Chinese and Japanese banking crises. Israel-Hamas, North Korea is always a handful. And then, of course, there's the 2024 election itself. Under systemic or financial, we still have the commercial real estate crisis out there. Unrealized losses by both the banks and the Fed Reserve itself. Last I heard, there's 282 U.S. banks at risk. Then there's the de-dollarization trend from BRICS, a $34 trillion U.S. debt spiral. Ryan Cohen could make his surprise announcement about the future of GameStop. We could also get another surprise post from Roaring Kitty. We could see the settlement of the SEC versus Ripple case finally. And then there's what I call the derivative tsunami out there. Elon Musk could debut his new peer-to-peer payment platform on X, formerly known as Twitter. We could get a surprise rate cut from the Fed, or they could be delayed by new inflationary news. And of course, there's the hedgy, hidden over leverage, securities sold yet not purchased, potentially billions of unreconciled synthetic shares out there. A lot of swans in the sky. Okay, what do you guys think of this thing? Should we add it to the list? NASA reports a 100-foot asteroid zooming towards Earth at an astounding speed. I call this a god swan, by the way. An asteroid the size of an airplane traveling at an incomprehensible speed will get uncomfortably close to Earth, according to reports from NASA. The asteroid, named 2024 NB2, will get as close as 2.3 million miles from Earth as it passes through the universe. This qualifies it as a near-Earth object, or NEO, by NASA's standards, which raises alarm bells and results in closer monitoring. Is this not the best channel on YouTube? Where else can you get this kind of shit? Name one other YouTube guy trying to make you money on an asteroid collision with the planet Earth. And speaking of outer space, NASA spots bizarre X-shaped structure in Earth's upper atmosphere. NASA's global-scale observations of the LIM and DISC mission has revealed unexpected X-shaped formations in an electrified layer of gas high above our heads called the ionosphere. I think I know what it is. Friday was really an exciting day for Archer Aviation, and I'm grateful to God for how the stock and the company are performing. But since the close, Uncle Frank has been shitting himself from the excitement surrounding XRP. At the time of this recording, it's just under 53 cents, up over 21% over the past 7 days, and I'm getting texts and emails round the clock regarding the chances of a settlement, so I'll give you my call on the matter. This is not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. I will never tell you to buy, sell, or hold any security or cryptocurrency. Now, I believe that the government, the SEC, lost 3/4 of this case. The one aspect that they won was how Ripple placed its XRP with its institutional investors. But then the SEC began behaving like they won the case. They were asking for $2 billion, just this outrageous, ridiculous amount. Now, Ripple countered with $10 million, comparing this case to other recent cases. So the SEC dropped their offer from $2 billion to $102 million. That's pretty significant, right? And so far, Ripple has encountered. Now, if I were Ripple's attorney, I would probably counter at $25 million. Why? That's more than double, what Ripple originally wanted to pay. And I think this case is really, really weak that the SEC has brought. I think they brought it to delay Ripple and XRP's technology, maybe to help Swift, or maybe because they want to continue to use Swift to sanction other countries, right? But in my opinion, the next step could be a counteroffer from Ripple. So let's see what happens over the weekend, and I hope you guys do well on Monday. Hey, I want to thank you for watching, and please remember to hit the like button after this slide if you enjoyed the presentation. Subscribe to the channel and set the alert so you're notified when I have new information to share. See you at the bell.